These 6 people watched a horror movie where 7 people got scared away. The ending left me disappointed. A woman went to the reservoir looking for her mother, but unexpectedly found a corpse. The police quickly responded to the call, but when an officer went into the water to investigate, he was suddenly pulled under. His colleague rushed to help, but found no trace in the water. While searching, she too was dragged down. The next moment, the police officer surprisingly stood up from the water. The woman asked if everything was okay, but the officer seemed possessed and suddenly grabbed her hand. Xiao Mei, frightened, backed away quickly. Unexpectedly, the officer lunged forward. Luckily, the police car lights scared the officer, giving Xiao Mei a chance to escape and call her uncle. She slipped and fainted. In her daze, she saw flashbacks of her sister being beaten by their mother. Terrified, Xiao Mei woke up but couldn't stand due to pain, only managing to lean against a wall. Fortunately, her uncle arrived on his bike. As she explained what happened, she felt something strange. The dry bridge tunnel was now wet. Looking up, she saw terrifying feet at the edge. Her uncle turned and ran, but the police and bystanders suddenly appeared. Xiao Mei's mind went blank. The shadow approached slowly. She ran frantically, spotting the police car. She got in, tried to start it, but nothing happened. Seeing the radio, she called for help. Suddenly, a hand reached from behind, and her mother appeared in front of the car. Xiao Mei quickly got out of the car and embraced her, then tried to take her home, but she did not respond, only telling her to immediately leave the village, trust no one, and never to remove the bracelet from her arm. After saying this, her mother collapsed in pain. Xiao Mei had no choice but to flee again. Luckily, she encountered a normal little girl who led Xiao Mei to her residence, adorned with yellow talismans, safe to spend the night. When Xiao Mei saw the symbol of the 5 elements, she realized why she always narrowly escaped danger. It was because of the bracelet she wore. No wonder the water ghost had failed. Xiao Mei broke down crying, but the sight of the little girl lying on the ground seemed to restore her confidence. She once more rushed to the lake, and sure enough, the water ghost was waiting for her there. She tied her swimming ring into a knot, touched her bracelet, and then the woman stepped into the chilly water. Just as she was placing the swimming ring on the girl, unexpectedly, a ghostly hand clutched at her ankle. Xiao Mei fought desperately, and then suddenly saw a terrifying face, but she held on firmly to it. It turned out that just a few years ago, she and her sister had sneaked a peek at an exorcism ritual, but since then, her sister seemed to have changed completely, looking normal but occasionally becoming emotional and spewing nonsense, her hands constantly shaking and twitching, which only large amounts of drinking water could alleviate. Her mother knew this wasn't a disease, seized her sister by the hair, prepared to muzzle her, and told Xiao Mei not to follow. She then dragged her sister into a room filled with talismans, watching her eerie smile as her mother beat her with a whip soaked in holy water. But Xiao Mei, who had secretly followed, saw this. Looking at the bloodstains on the chair and hearing her sister's agonized cries, young Xiao Mei was terrified, yet her mother showed no signs of stopping. The sister suddenly vomited foul black water from her mouth and even a live catfish. That night, Xiao Mei snuck in to check on her sister, saying Mom had contacted Seoul's top shaman, who might have a solution. Unexpectedly, after Mom left, something terrible happened. The room door opened, and her sister vanished. Xiao Mei rushed out to search. Her sister's condition was critical. Xiao Mei finally found her by the reservoir. Suddenly, her sister grabbed her hand, trying to pull her into the water. Xiao Mei struggled desperately. Tragically, her sister drowned. This became Xiao Mei's biggest regret. Strange events began occurring in the village. A fisherman, expecting a quiet day, was dragged underwater. Meanwhile, Xiao Mei tightly hugged her sister underwater. Finally, feeling Xiao Mei's love, her sister let out a cry and vanished without a trace. As dawn broke, Xiao Mei dragged her tired body ashore, believing her sister was now at peace. She planned to leave the village in a few days, but the little girl had been waiting outside for a long time. Entering the house, she was shocked to find her sister frantically drinking water.